So welcome to 25X Trading, and we're just going to start the year off correctly, making sure, because we've been getting a lot of inquiries into people who've gone onto our site, sent information, and they want to trade with us. And truthfully, you have to know who you are before you start trading, and not everybody's qualified. That's why we give you a free simulator to practice. We set the parameters up the same way because we don't want you to use that leverage to blow your account up. It's a powerful tool, but at the same time, you have to be prepared for it. So what we do is, if you ask for information, we want, there's no test to it. It's a free simulator. You can start trading if you don't want to do the simulator. That's up to you. We just want to rather be cautious and help you build a career or a side stream of money that's going to last you the rest of your life, as opposed to thinking that you're going to hit a home run today and win the lotto. That happens to one in very, 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 very few people. It just doesn't. It's not something to bank on, basically. So what we're talking about today is leverage. Can it be worth it to you? Okay. Yes, it can. Okay. Because it can magnify your returns. It allows you to control a larger asset with less capital, leading to higher percentage gains if the investment performs well. Okay, so if you look at it, if your initial investment's $3,000 and you can maintain 2%, a daily growth rate of 2% over a time period of 90 days, and when I say 90 days, that's 90 trading days, okay? If you can do that, at that point, your profit will be somewhere in the neighborhood of $15,000. You can take $3,000 on 2% daily growth, okay, and make $15,000. Obviously, the longer the period goes out, we start talking to astronomical numbers. But again, you got to remember that $3,000 is being reinvested into the original sum. So it's not $3,000 and every day we're taking the money out. This is $3,000 reinvested. But by the same token, you can also see it where if you're not making money, what will end up happening. No matter how you look at it, if you're smart about this, you can actually take a small amount of money and grow it. So even a small sum of $1,000, but you're being very careful, at 1% daily growth in 90 days, a little hard to get that 90, well, let's make it 96 days. Your profit's $1,599, giving you a total balance, a final balance of almost $2,600. That's how wealth is created. It's not, oh yeah, I'm going to hit a home run and my growth is going to be 5% and I'm going to do it in one day and blah, blah, blah. That's not the way it's done, okay? In reality, yeah, you're great. That's fantastic. But the truth of the matter is that it's a long, steady climb. Simple as that. The reason why leverage might be worth it, it allows you, like I said, to take a larger position and maximize your growth. Most firms will allow you to go 4x on stocks, okay? 25x, yeah, you can start to get into metals, you can get into monetary currencies and stuff, which are, in my opinion, it's fine. We allow you to go into any equity you want, okay? We provide up to 25 times leverage, okay? And there are no PDT restrictions. What that means is you don't need $25,000 to start trading, okay? Now, the risk and the downsides. If you don't know what you're doing, okay, just as gains are magnified, so are losses. So you have to have a clear plan when you're going into it and when you're going out of a trade. Okay, you have to be willing to take a loss before it spirals out of control. What I mean by that is the days of wishing and hoping and praying that something happens. No, when you start a trade, you have to know what's my entry point what's my exit point from a loss perspective, and what's my exit point as I start leveraging out of that position. Okay, so you have to learn how to take profits as well. I've seen traders go in there, they'll be up 50, and I've done it myself. They'll be up X amount of percentage, and they hold on for more and more and more and more, and then next thing you know, they end up giving it all back. Nothing will go 100%. So you need to know, what is my goal for the day, number one, what is my in and what is my out. If you have those things going into the trade, you're 90% there at making yourself a successful trader. That's the truth, okay? Now, with the risk and the downsides, okay, is that there's going to be emotional stress. You don't have to worry about margin calls, because with 25x trading, we basically, there are no margin calls because we put initiate stops in automatically. So this way you don't blow up your account. We are your training wheels when you trade. Essentially, if you have X amount, we don't want you to see it. So before the morning bell, okay, you will know what your stop loss for the day is. So at that point, you want to calculate, if this stock hits this amount, I'm going to hit my stop loss. And it should be 5 or 10 cents below the stock that you're thinking about getting into. So if I'm looking at, let's just say Palantir at 178, I've got to basically do the math in my head, and we do have calculators, okay? Do the math in my head saying, if I buy X amount of shares and I get in at 177, the stock goes to 176, I'm gone, because that's where I believe at that point it's turning around. So at 175.95, that's where my stop is going to be at, or 175.90, okay? So I know at that point, if it breaks 176, I'll give it to 176 a few pennies, because sometimes things swing around, but it's 175.90, I'm gone, or maybe 175.80 or 175.75, you know, you're being more cautious. That's where we put this, you put your stop. You know that, okay, my stop loss for the day is $500. Let me calculate how many shares I need and what my loss will be at this point. Once you figure that all out, then you could say, okay, fine, I'm going into this stock. And we'll get into that calculation in another video and show you how it works, okay? But that's really, we want to put the training wheels on you, so this way it doesn't stress you out. And by the same token, we want to make sure that you understand what a 1x return, a 2x, what your daily goal is going to be. When you have that, when you have the training wheels, and you have a plan going in and out of a trade, the emotional stress goes from a 10, okay, to a 1 or a 2. Because before the trade starts, you've accepted what the parameters are. When I first started trading, I would get into a trade not knowing where I wanted to get out on either a loss or a profit. And when you do that, it becomes an emotional roller coaster. Every penny ticking up and down is an emotional, psychological stress. So what this allows you to do is basically go in there, set it, keep an eye on it, obviously, you know what I'm saying? You get to X amount and you're saying, you know what, I don't feel comfortable with this trade, let me take 90% of the trade off, then you could do that. But you know where you're getting in and where you're getting out of, and that's the homework that you do. Once you do that, guess what? Then it's a game of, let me take a look at this, let me look at it, and at that point, I'll tell you what I should do and what I shouldn't do. So that's one of the major things that you want to look at. Who should avoid leverage, or at best, use extreme cautions? New traders, okay, really should be very cautious about using leverage. And here at 25x Trading, if you're a new trader, we tell you point blank, use the free simulator for as long as you need to use it. Feel comfortable trading, and I don't care who you trade with, okay? If you feel like you found the right person to trade with, your guru or your mentor, whoever it might be, that's fine. We're not here to tell you what our ideas are. You could take a look at what we do, that's fine, but we're not here to be gurus. We're here to facilitate trading and show you what's worked for us in terms of using leverage, okay? Of using a platform that gets you direct to market, and then you start to see the difference between retail trading and professional trading. This is not a retail prop trading firm. Let's just get that straight. That is not even close to it. That is garbage, okay? That's not a real firm, okay? We actually have direct ECN to straight to the market, okay? So this way your trades are executed instantaneously. No more waiting around for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and then getting filled eventually. You pick the price that you want to get filled at, and you're filled at it. Simple as that. And again, we're not a retail proprietary trading firm where you're just playing a video game. On the simulator, you're still getting quoted the real prices on the real market, but it is a simulator. You're not using real capital. But when you're trading with your capital, that is real trading. When you go to cash out, you cash out real money. None of this nonsense. But new traders, we tell you, take your time. Most retail traders lose money with leverage, and that's because of poor risk management and emotion, okay? And that's what we try to tell you. It's risk management and it's controlling your emotions. If you can do that, you're 90% better than every trader that's out there. If you don't have discipline, if you don't have a structured, disciplined strategy and a deep understanding of market volatility, be very careful, okay? Market volatility, you got to remember, the market is buying and selling, all right? There's two sides of every trade. Now, that doesn't mean there's somebody on the other side all the time. That's why you have market makers. Market makers facilitate trading to make sure that it's constantly an even flow. So you might have a trade, and everybody gets this a little confused, is that you might have somebody on the opposite side of your trade. You might have nobody on the opposite side of your trade. So you're selling at 100. If there's nobody at 100, the market maker is going to pick that up, all right? And then eventually he's going to bail out of that as well. But he's got to make sure he facilitates the trades to keep the momentum going. You can't have a trader that's going to be selling and there's no buyers out there, and then it goes from 100 to 99 to 98 to 97 to 96 to 95. Does that happen? Oh yeah, 100% that happens. But if you watch it, it usually happens after major news and usually pre-market or aftermarket. And what that means is there's so much less liquidity at that point. Not everybody trades it. So when you get earnings afterwards, you'll see a stock jolt down 10%. But it always will recover, unless the news is devastating, and then it won't recover. But when you start to see it get to around, a 10% fall off, then you'll see that it will recover because the market makers will start stepping in and buying it up to make sure that it levels out the stock. So you have to have a disciplined strategy, but you have to understand what the market volatility is as well. Now, those who can't afford losses, all right, this is critical. If you're taking money that's paying your mortgage or your rent on a daily basis, okay, and trading with that, you're going to lose. Simple as that. Just the stress, you're never going to be able to get past the stress factor, and losing $10 is just going to be too much for you, okay? You've got to be willing to make that investment. Trading is a business. It's an investment, just as if you were to open a restaurant. If you were to open a restaurant, a food cart, a hot dog stand, you've got to put money out. You've got to put money out, and you've got to feel confident that you're going to make money doing it. To give you an idea, if I was to open up a small lemonade stand, all right, as a kid, how much is it going to cost me? I've got to buy sugar, I've got to buy lemons, I've got to buy cups, I've got to buy a jug to make lemonade, I've got to create a stand. So it might not cost me a lot, but it'll probably cost me $100, okay? Now, how do I make that money back? By selling lemonade. Now, if I don't feel like I want to put that $100 out, how do I start? You don't. And that's the same thing, is that when you're starting a trading, you have to have money put to the side that you're willing to risk and to lose. Again, you don't want to lose it, but you're willing to risk it to make a profit. And to do that, you've got to be willing to look at the trades and say, okay, fine. On every single trade, I'm looking at this point where if I lose it, I'm going to let it go. Most people who are not successful in this business, most, if not all, cannot say that. They say, yeah, okay, fine, I'll let it go. But then when they're down $100, $200, it blows up into $1,000 loss. And that's where the issue becomes. You might be wrong on this one trade. Hey, no one's 100%. If you were 100%, you'd be a billionaire, okay? But if you're right, you make money. If you're wrong, you cut the loss to a minimal amount, okay? And that's where you have to look at. So again, those are some of the key tools that you want to look at when you figure out what leverage is all about. Does it make sense for everybody? We believe it does. Okay, if you can pass those parameters where you have the capital saved up and you're willing to build a business and build something that's going to grow with you over the years, then yeah, then it's for you 100%. And I get, with 25X, there's no PDT restrictions. It's a professional platform where it gets you direct ECN access, level 2 data, advanced charting, customizable hotkeys. Feel free to go to our site, open a trading account, or just ask for information. Now, like I said, it says open an account, but it's not really open an account. You can send for information where you just contact us. Go here, contact us, send a message, and someone will get back to you right away. Some of the features, like I said, low entry point, advanced charting, see our platform in action. All these things you can take a look at. Zero fee trading companies, okay? And this is where you see, how does leverage work? 3,000 is going to give you $75,000 in buying power. Do the math. How many shares can you buy with $75,000, okay? And one of the most important things is, just by signing up with free, no capital, nothing whatsoever, we want you to test drive everything and use the simulated trading. Use the simulated trading, try it out, see it, practice it, make sure you know about it. Customizable templates, live trading sessions. Again, we're not teachers, okay? But we have no problems if people are new and they want to see how other people do it. Feel free to take a look at it, okay? Comprehensive trading plans to see what your maximum growth is, okay? Our goal has always been to create a side income, to create something that's going to be a career, a business. Whether that's $100 a day, $1,000 a week, $5,000 a week, whatever it is. This is not something that we want to look at and say, oh yeah, we want you to make sure that you're going to make $50,000. No, this is something you grow into. You grow into this position and you feel more confident as the time goes by, okay? Take your time, and like I said, when it's all said and done, you'll see what we're all about, and it'll make a lot of sense to you, okay? So, any questions? Feel free to contact us and someone will get back to us. But happy trading, and we look forward to hearing from everybody, and keep sending those emails in. Thank you.